Hey guys, EBPMAN here. Now, all of us are watching more home movie premieres more than ever before. And today I'm going to share with you what is Nilda and my new favorite projector that turns any room in your home into a home theater experience. We're talking about large screen theater experience. Nilda and I absolutely love the experience that we're getting with this brand new ultra short throw projector from AWOL. It is a projector that requires very little distance from the wall to be able to give you a spectacular image just like this. Even in daylight, you're going to have an amazing video experience. But best of all, in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can save 45% off of this projector today. And you heard me right, 45%. A matter of fact, just last week we met with the founders of this projector, and they shared with me that you can reserve this projector for 45% off. And while this is going to be on Indiegogo, the campaign isn't really about funding a project to build something because they already have the projectors built. It's more about the distribution. So we're going to be able to take a look at how this projector performs in my home. Make sure that you watch the full video. Now, we're excited about it, but just don't take our review for it. We've actually partnered with projectorscreen.com, and they did a technical, in-depth review. We both tested the same projector independently, and we both came to the same conclusion. So make sure you check out Brian's initial impressions because he really goes into color accuracy, into the lumens, the performance, and a whole bunch of other things for those of you who are really looking at performance and how well it does from a spec perspective. Now, this really confirmed what Nilda and I have said in our home experience. So the 45% link is going to be in the description area, but make sure that you watch the entire video so that you understand why we like this projector so much. And by the way, don't forget to check out not just the specs, but take a look at this new cabinet that they have. It's a smart cabinet that allows you to automatically expand the screen when this thing opens. Now, before you even say anything, this review is not sponsored. I'm just really excited about a product like this that I haven't seen in such a long time as I compare it to some of the other projectors that we've seen on the channel. So let's check out the specs. We'll take a closer look at the product. And this again is the AWOL LTV 3500. Now, these projectors, as we talked about, basically have the ability to give you a fantastic image. You're talking about anywhere from small, all the way from 80 inches, all the way up to 150 inches, depending on the size. And the thing about these projectors is, as you think about them, you may think, I need a large space for a projector because traditional projectors require a long length of throw. But this one just requires inches from the wall. And this is kind of like our favorite format when it comes to projectors. 12 inches from the wall is going to give you an 80-inch image. 80 inches. If you could go back a couple inches more, as you go back, you can get up to 150 inches. A 150-inch image, and you don't really need a very large room. The big part, or what you really need, is a wall that can mount a screen. And it's really important to have the right screen because having the right screen is going to give you the best viewing experience. So, as we take a look at the LTV 3500, we're talking about a trichroma laser projector, and that's the most modern or the most newest type of laser technology that's going to give you the most vivid colors, right? And it's going to give you also the deepest black. And I have to say, out of the box, this projector has the best color, I would say, signature, right, that I've seen to date. Meaning that I turned this thing on, and the colors were vibrant, not overly saturated, but also they seem to be keyed correctly, and it's what I would expect if I opened something without having to tweak it. I love products that just you turn them on and they work and they look great. And then what you could do is you can work with the configurations to change the actual, I would say, settings when it comes to the image to either make it less vibrant or more vibrant or just set it up to your liking. But this one out of the box is super bright, and then it also has great color format for me. Now, in addition to being tri-laser and also being a large screen format, 12 inches, 80 inches, all the way up to 150 inches, this thing is the brightest projector, in my opinion, that we've seen. And it literally was kind of shocking. As soon as we turned this thing on, it lit up our living room. And my wife was like, no, let's turn it on. She says, what's going on? And it was just the startup of this projector. 3,500 lumens, super bright. And now from a color perspective and an accuracy perspective, you're looking at 100%, 107% actually, Rec 2020. And then the same thing is taking place with the DCI P3, right? We're talking about 143% DCI P3. And then when it comes to the bulb itself, 25,000 hours. So if you think about all of the stuff that I just told you, right? The brightness I think everybody gets, but when you think about some of those other settings, if you're not someone that's into projectors, it comes down to this. Beautiful image. The blacks are black, the reds are reds, the yellows are yellows, the greens are greens. It's just a fantastic image. Now, in addition to that, having a great image and having something that's going to last 25,000 hours, no bulbs to change, you also then have a lot of connectivity. And one of the things I love about this projector, and it's incredibly notable, is the fact that it has 3 HDMIs, and one of those HDMIs is not ARC, right? Because we have a lot of projectors that we reviewed that is ARC. This has a projector or a connection that's called eARC. Now, what is eARC? Well, eARC is going to give you the ability to really hear audio that is how the movie was actually meant to be heard. This is Dolby Atmos quality audio. If you look at any projector on the market that has an ARC only, you're not going to get the full audio experience. You're going to get a great audio experience, and we have some that we've reviewed, like the most recent product that we looked at from Vava, the Vava Chroma, and that's a tri-color laser, right? That one has ARC only, and we've enjoyed that projector, and it's one of the ones that I highly recommend. But this one, from an audio perspective, oh my God, because I'm able to have, again, true Dolby Atmos, and I've also connected it to my surround system, the rumbles are there. The fidelity in audio is going to be a lot superior with this projector. It does have 2 USB-A, an optical and an Ethernet. I don't use the optical for audio. eARC is more superior. And then also we don't really use the Ethernet because we do everything over Wi-Fi. This projector also has a gaming mode, right? It's going to give you 30 millisecond latency, right? So that's pretty good for a projector because, frankly, projectors of this type are not really designed to be for gaming systems, but at 30 milliseconds, the latency, that is acceptable, and for my gaming usage, that's fine. Now, if you are a first-person shooter that is really into those type of games and you're looking for like quick response and that, then this is going to be something just like any other projector. 30 milliseconds is not going to be enough. But for the casual gamer, it's great for me. The actual projector also has 8-point keystone correction, which means it has these 8 little dots that allows you to grab the corners and make the adjustment so that it fits the screens just right. So you could do that if you have an imperfect area that you're going to be in. Now, the ecosystem, or at least the operating system for this projector, is an Android 9 OS. It's not Android TV though, right? So what they've done is they've included an Amazon Fire Stick. A 4K Fire Stick is included. So that pretty much means that you'll have great 4K content. And actually, the way we have, and we have, again, reviewed a lot of projectors, even if they have the Android ecosystem on, like Android 10 TV, we tend to use a NVIDIA Shield. And the NVIDIA Shield is an affordable 4K streaming device that also supports Dolby Atmos, right? So that is going to be something that takes advantage of that eARC. So we actually prefer using that. It also has Bluetooth for connectivity, for expandability. It has Wi-Fi as well, so that for updates and things that have to happen on the projector, because I don't really use it for streaming. And then it has MEMC, which is going to help you with fast-moving objects or movies. Or let's say, for example, if you're watching the Super Bowl and there's a lot of running and you want things to be super smooth, MEMC is going to help you with that. It has a 36-watt speaker, so it's going to give you a great surround sound system. And again, because it's supporting that, again, that Dolby Atmos, it's Dolby Atmos and Virtual X compatible. So it's a very immersive experience. Now, as you can see with this setup, the projector performs extremely well. You're seeing this projector running with the blinds open, and you can see the overall quality and how bright this projector is because of those 3,500 lumens. The other thing that you're noticing is that when we close the blinds, the actual images pop out more, the colors become more vibrant, the blacks become even deeper, and the viewing experience is just, it's just improved. It's what you would expect. At nighttime, though, oh, this is when this thing really, really shines, right? The other ones look great, and when it's nighttime, this thing pops. Blacks are black, reds are reds, greens are green, yellows are yellows. And then with the audio experience that we have, it's a fully immersive experience. It's one of my favorite projectors, especially when you combine all these features. And again, the color color signature itself, when we turned it on, no tweaking. I love a projector that I can turn it on and it just works. So what we're going to do next is we're going to get closer to the projector. We're going to give you kind of a sense of the menu, the operating system, some of the performance, and we'll get really close to it and see, again, all the aesthetics and how it works. Let's check it out. All right, guys, one of the things I wanted to share with you is, how bright this projector is by just putting up the startup. And I'll warn you that I'm still working on the alignment, with the projector, making sure that everything works with the screen. And as I switch projectors in and out, you'll sometimes see that there is kind of some overbleeding that takes place because I haven't fully had it 100% adjusted. But this is, what happens to all of us in our home. So I'm going to power this up, and we're going to see what the startup is, so you can see how bright this thing is. Now here it goes, we're starting it up. Now look how bright that is. And it also gets pretty loud. So you can see I still have some adjustments to go through, but I wanted to just give you that experience of how it starts up, and even in this lit environment, and we're doing this all in a very well lit environment, gives you a sense of how bright this projector is. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the menu and we'll see how everything performs. Now, as I mentioned, we're running this projector on that Elite Screens CLR. Now, AWOL also has a screen bundle that they have in. We'll see if we get that product, as I mentioned, so we can see how it performs. I'd expect that it would perform similarly, but what it really does is it gives you the ability to use these screens in all environments. Now, you've seen in the video how this performs in darkness and how the blacks become more vivid, how the reds pop out, and just the colors become more vibrant in those settings. But here I just wanted to give you a sense of what you can expect, and you can see the amount of light that's coming in and how well this projector is projecting, and that really makes it super convenient, because in most cases when you think about a projector, you think about a dark room, you think about blackout blinds, and I'm showing you this is working in my living room regardless of the light source, and we actually can sit down and actually watch TV. Colors, as you can see, are coming out really nicely, and there's no adjustment being done to this video. Now, as we mentioned, this projector does not have Android TV, but it is running Android 9.0, and it does have a dashboard that you can come to every single time you boot it up, or you can have it remember the last source that was active, and it would jump automatically to it. So in my case, because I'm running the NVIDIA Shield, it's shifted to the NVIDIA Shield as soon as it powered up after a couple seconds. Now, it does come with a nice little area that allows you to tuck away the Fire Stick that's included. It's a 4K Fire Stick, so you don't have to really purchase an additional device. So if you are a subscriber to the Amazon ecosystem, you're going to be able to have that. Now, you'll see that it also comes with a remote, and the remote is very useful. So as you take a look at it right here, we'll make sure that that's in focus really quick. The remote is pretty standard. It has the standard buttons up, down, left, right, menu access, has all the controls, uses batteries, and there's really, it's really a standard type remote with all the controls that you specifically need. I don't really use the remote when I am using the projector, because I use either the Fire Stick remote or I'll use the NVIDIA Shield remote. Now, you do have the ability to install some apps, and you'll notice when I click on apps here, some people call it side loading, so we'll go ahead and go into it. You have all apps, and this is going to have some really basic standard apps. So this is, again, things like this. So you can do Explore and the memory, because you could put things on the USB stick. You do have the ability to do screen sharing, and then you have File Manager and some other features. I really take advantage of either the capabilities that you have in the Fire Stick for screen sharing or what you have in the Google ecosystem when it comes to Chromecast. So I don't really use these this much. You notice that you have your file management, the screen share that we mentioned. We'll go into settings in a couple seconds, and then you have your HDMI ports. Now, because it has one of the HDMI ports tucked away for the dedicated Fire Stick, I'd say that only two are easily accessible and usable unless you remove the cover, and then you'd be able to access all three. So there's a little tuck away cover in the back that you'll see in a second. If we go into the settings area, we'll see some of the things that you find there. So here we have the ability to adjust the image. Right, so you have various image modes. You can go from vivid to sport, and you can go to movie mode, and it's just going to change. I prefer vivid, right, in the way we look at content. And if you're watching sports, it just makes things pop out really, really nice. we'll go ahead and get out of here for a second. You have, again, your user settings, and this is where you're going to be able to adjust your brightness, contrast, all the settings that you'd want. You have some advanced settings as well, and this is where you could adjust that MEMC, which is the motion capability, so that things don't come out blurry and you actually have a great viewing experience for high speed either movies or games. I like keeping it on medium. I think that's sufficient for me, but you do have various settings that you can go into here, and you can change it from off, low, or medium. It's up to you what you'd like to have. Also, the low delay mode, this is your gaming mode. So this is what you would turn on when you're going to be doing gaming, and we'll see what gaming looks like in a second. You have some noise reduction technology, dynamic contrast, and when you turn that on and off, you would be able to see what those features are like. You also have your color temperature, right? And I've done nothing to this. The only thing that we have is we like the vivid color setting, but when it comes to this, everything is standard out of the box. And then color correction capabilities. You'll notice everything is standard, nothing has changed. No red hue, nothing like that has been modified. And then if I go out of here, then you have MPEG, and you have the ability, what type of quality you're going to see there as well. And let's go out. Let's just see one more area down there. Just want to highlight is that you have HDR set to auto. Now in the zoom mode, you do have the ability to change your zoom 4:3, 16:9, or auto. I have mine set on auto. And then obviously you have the ability to reset. In the light settings area, you have the ability to choose your light mode. We have it right now set to soft, but you can go standard, and you can go high dynamic, low dynamic, and you can do it user defined. We've been fine, again, using this out of the box. I like seeing what a device is capable with the standard settings. It says a lot about the device when you don't have to do any kind of tweaking. Now, another feature that it has is the ability to really understand its environment, the kind of light that you have, and have it automatically adjust. So it has an intelligent lighting option, and that's a cool feature to have. It really takes out I think the thought process there of setting the projector up. You have various modes as well. You have front projection, rear projection, ceiling, so you can mount this on a ceiling, and it does have ceiling mounts underneath, or screws where you can do that. You can have actuator control. There's a little correction chart, which is kind of allows you for the alignment. And then you also have this is where your manual correction comes in, and this is your keystone. And you can see that things are a little crooked. I have to adjust that, so you can see how my image is a little bit sideways. I probably bumped the projector as we've been playing with it, but we'll adjust that a little bit later, and that's why you see some of the overbleeding there. But you basically have the ability to adjust all of those points that you see there and bring things in. You want to really avoid this as much as possible when you're working with projectors, because it does degrade the image quality. So really about having the right furniture, the right screen positioning and alignment before you put up your screen. But because I go through so many projectors, when this was set up, it wasn't for this one in particular, so I just have to live through the adjustments. But if you're getting this for your home, make sure you set it up where you don't have to use these keystoning or avoid it as much as you can. You also have a focus feature here. So in the focus area, you'll be able to adjust your focus. And I like this one because it's pretty simple. You just go to the right or to the left, and it will kind of adjust itself to either say that it needs adjustment left or right, and by just doing that. So it's pretty simple. I've seen some other correction solutions that are just a lot harder to interpret. In your sound area, you can go into your advanced settings, and you can determine again if it is adjustable. In this case, I'm not using the sound bar, but you can see that you can set the sound bar can be set up to the bass can be increased, the treble can be increased. I have it going through our surround sound system at this time, but the projector does a fine job. If you are starting out with this projector, it's sufficient for a room of this size without having to have a sound bar. Now, on the output device for the sound, you'll notice here you have some choices. You have Bluetooth, you have speakers, you have the optical. I have it on that eARC. I'm really trying to get that Dolby Atmos, which in my case, the NVIDIA Shield Stick supports Dolby Atmos, and it's going to give you that great audio quality. 5.1 surround sound. It's just very immersive. Here you'll find your audio output format. I have it for auto. That way you don't have to worry about that. You have that DTS Virtual X. You also have your Dolby Atmos. All these things, because I'm using eARC, are handled by eARC. On the network side, this is where you connect to your Wi-Fi. Your Bluetooth is where you go to set up your Bluetooth devices. And in your general settings, you're going to be able to determine, your power. When you turn it on, what happens? So you notice that the default source is last time. This is what I was mentioning to you a couple seconds ago, where you can actually have it go back to the last active HDMI port. I have a PlayStation 5 and I also have the stick going. So if I ended playing on a PS5, when I started it up again, it would go back to the PS5. If I ended with the Shield, it would go back to the Shield, right? So you have those choices built in. You have other configurations that you can go into, and you can see that these are pretty standard and self-explanatory. Now, other things that you have on the projector is being able to set the time, input method, eye care, which is going to be disabling the laser so if someone gets close to it. CNC, that gives you the ability to control when the projector it gets powered by one remote as opposed to having more than one. You then also have the screensaver timer, and then the ketone. Now the last thing I'll show you in this menu is the About section, and this is where you're going to go to check your updates, right? So you can see the local name of the device, and then if you're going to check and see if there is a firmware upgrade, this is where you would go. Now this is what you could get when you have like the NVIDIA Shield connected, right? So this is coming from the Shield at this point. And what you can do too is there's also some configuration that happens in this area. So here what you could do is look at your HDMI version, right? Either 1.4 or 2.0. We have 2.0 connected, and that's going to give you that highest resolution. If you have 1.0, you're not going to get the best video experience. So I always change it to 2.0. And then here, as soon as you choose it, it's going to give you kind of like what's coming through. So you'll notice that resolution is 4K, the color depth, color space, and the codec. And these are all coming from the Shield, right? So this tells me that I'm getting the audio experience that I want, the resolution that I'm looking for, and then all the other details that matter to me. Now, as you guys recall, we talked about how this projector and this setup is going to work in any room, regardless of size, as long as you have the wall space. This is how close I am to the screen, and notice how you're not losing any kind of quality, right? So the image quality is absolutely superb. It's viewable. Not that you want to be 3 feet from the screen, but hey, it's still viewable. Now up close, the projector is a thin profile projector. It's not as large as some of the other projectors that we reviewed on the channel. You do have a little LED here that indicates when you're on. You have a little power button right here, and this is where the image comes out. And for those of you who are new to ultra short throws, you can see how much distance there is between the projector and the wall. Not a lot of distance at all, so you don't really need a lot of space. You do have some venting that's taking place on each side, and I'd say that this projector is super quiet. Now in the back of the projector, you'll find your optical, a service port that is micro USB, a USB-A port here, and then there's one right here, so you don't have to go to the back. You just plug it here on the side, and I'll show you that in a second. You also have an aux cable. You have your 2 HDMIs, and this is the one that's going to be your eARC. And then on the inside here, you have tucked away this is where your Fire Stick would go. And the nice thing about it is that once it gets tucked away, and it has its independent power here as well, right? So this is where you would power it up. You have this little cover that you put on it, and it just locks into place. And one of the other questions we get a lot is, how loud is the projector? So we have the projector streaming. You can see kind of like the reflection that it's streaming. So we want to make sure that there's content going through. I just lower the volume. I do have some noise in the house, but that's like kind of house noise. But we want to see how much noise is coming into the projector. So I'm going to have the phone right here. We're going to see how much noise is being picked up by the house. And then I'm going to get closer to the projector, and we'll see if there's a difference, right? So let me stay quiet. All right, so there you have it. Super quiet. So guys, that completes our review of the AWOL projector. Again, the 3500 series, super bright. It has to be my favorite projector at this time with the overall color quality and the sound. Immersive experience, 150 inches. We had 123 in our setup. And again, we're just amazed with the overall quality. So see you in the next video.